We've all been there, right? In the grocery store. Oh, I'll just buy this meat. There it is, and all we have to do is buy it. We don't have to think about what it took to make that chicken in that nice packaging. But the reality of the way that it came about, it's incredibly unsustainable. And that's one of the biggest problems facing humanity right now. But we figured out a way to solve it. The whole idea is that that chicken in itself has an unlimited source of itself, and there is a way where you can take just a handful of cells and keep growing them essentially infinitely. For those very first cells, it was important to us how we got the cells, not just that we got the cells. We came up with the idea to use one feather from the single best chicken that we could find.
We picked out a really nice looking chicken that had a really nice clean white feathers, a healthy comb and wattle. Caleb happened to have the infrastructure to create a new chicken coop, so we put our special little chicken in there. My first reaction to this project was like, what are these people doing? That's kind of weird. But in all honesty, people are going to eat meat, and one feather from one of my chickens could be the catalyst that feeds the world.
The first thing we need to do is we need to identify a cell that we are going to use as the basic starter material. And then what we need to do is find a food for it to grow in. So we have to identify the right set of nutrients that will cause the cells to multiply, but not just multiply, but do so quickly and into high densities.
Those nutrients are going to be obtained from plants. Animals in nature eat plants, right? And I don't think that there's another company that has this extensive knowledge base and experience with plants and their protein components that will also be able to test this in actually growing cells.
It's a perfect extension to apply the data that we get from those discoveries and using them in ways that we've never seen used before in the world.
One of the biggest points of comparison between what we're doing and the old way of doing things is food safety. And when you make that comparison, the difference is staggering. To eat real, actual meat without causing all this harm to the planet and to animals, that's what clean meat is.
The chicken was handed off to me, and for this first prototype, I said to myself, I'm going to make the best chicken nuggets ever.
Wake up, I want to lift you up, I want to dress you up, let's be friends.
It was an out-of-body experience to sit there and eat a chicken, but have the chicken that you're eating running around in front of you. You don't imagine doing something like that. But then you have this realization that we've figured out how life really works, and now we don't need to cause death in order to create food. And we're going to have to do it if we want to continue living on this planet.
Separating the truth? I'm doing it, folks. Separating the truth from the lies, coming at you from underneath the heavy chemtrail sun-simulated sky. you're about to receive another dose of the shock treatment. Take a look, folks. Lab-grown meat chicken nuggets made from feathers to hit shelves by the end of the year. They said that lab meat was supposed to be around, it said possibly by the end of 2018, and now they're saying again maybe by the end of 2019. Something tells me, now I could be wrong about this, but something tells me perhaps maybe they slipped it in the food chain already. I don't know. Usually when they say something's coming out around the corner, it already came out. They're just breaking you into it. Kind of like Harvard saying, they're going to spray the skies to prevent to minimize solar radiation. It's called solar radiation management. Meanwhile, they've been chemtrailing for the longest time, right? So they've just been ramping it up, and more people have been noticing it. But could be wrong about that. Nevertheless, because maybe the McDonald's chicken nuggets were lab meat. I don't know. But the thing is, they're going to roll this stuff out. And right now, it's like really expensive to produce. But they're going to try to get the cost down to about $4.50 a pound in 2 years. I mean, $4.50 a pound for what? For chicken? You get for $1.49 right now on sale Kroger. Purdue, no antibiotics, but BTW. Is lab-grown meat? Is meat grown in the lab the future, or simply inexpensive boondoggle that wealthy investors like Bill Gates, Bill Gates, let's press the pause button on that, folks. Isn't he linked with Microsoft LSD, the fake news machine? Isn't he a proponent of vaccines? Doesn't he market his Xbox that, according to Joe Embriano of the Fulton Informer, I mean, the gadgets that he produces are made to pretty much cause infertility? I mean, this is a guy that's not too keen on having a lot of people around in the world. I was going to say on a plane, whichever, tomato, but so for him to have his fingers in the lab meat cookie jar should tell you everything, right? It should tell you everything. Dodge that bullet, folks. According to major players in this cultured meat industry, cultured meaning lab dish, petri dish, lab-grown meats can replace having to actually slaughter and process these foods for human consumption, preventing animal deaths and giving rise to a new era in the food industry. Wait a minute. I mean, hasn't mankind been doing this since the dawn of history? Been hunting and gathering, haven't we? Been killing animals for consumption? So why all the concern about slaughtering animals? Why aren't they worried about slaughtering people with the chemtrails? Why aren't they worried about slaughtering people through the 5G and the cell towers and the radiation and the processed foods and the carrageenan in the ice cream and the meat and the fluoride in the freaking toothpaste and the crap to tap water and the chlorine and other things, the fluoride in that? I don't see them too worried about that. But all of a sudden, you know what? You got to save the animals. Save the animals. We don't want to cause them any pain, as these same demons are proponents for abortion. Abortion, late term, maybe a few hours after the fact, huh? What hypocrites, man. What hypocrites. This is nothing but, the way I see it, as a ploy to twist and taint the natural processes of life. God gave us animals. God gave us animals to eat. Even in the Old Testament, they sacrificed it. I mean, I didn't see God, he wouldn't have said, hey, Abraham, go get me a lab meat version. I don't want you slaughtering that animal. No, it's not natural, folks. Just like the pharmaceuticals made in the lab. Is that natural? Vaccines made in the lab. Is that natural? Is that good for you? I think not. I think the evidence is out there, folks. Oh, what is this? Made with GMO? GMO, hold on a second. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage back. Roll it back. Also, take a look here. I said roll it back. I've been having technical difficulties. All of a sudden, the website I'm using wasn't responding and had to X out. They know what I'm doing. They hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Big Tech? I know you don't like it. You're putting it out there and trying to market this as a great idea. So you're going to give me a hard time, right, with technology? Unbelievable. Anyway, it says it's right here in this article that it's made, this cultured meat, often made with GMO yeast, unfortunately. What else is it made? It's made in a lab. It's going to be, this isn't good news. And let's see. It says here, but others worry about the health implications of this dangerously under-tested technology. Under-tested, kind of like the vaccines, not tested at all for carcinogens or mutagenic and infertility potential. That reminds many of Monsanto and Bayer's experiments with genetically engineered crops. There you go, folks. This is uncharted territory. This is demonic, folks. Listen, there's no shortage of water, and they don't have to use all these antibiotics. They're claiming 80% of the antibiotics used is consumed by these animals. If Purdue could do it, why can't you? Huh? This is a bunch of nonsense. This is all part of manipulation, control, and depopulation. Already, cultured meats from companies like Memphis Meats, Hampton Creek, makers of the non-GMO vegan alternative product Just Mayo, and the Israeli startup Supermeat are being developed with an eye on changing the future of food. That's change I think we don't need. We need to go back to basics, folks. That's why we want the organic movement. It's growing. That's why we want organic. The organic movement's growing. The CBD oil sales are up. People want to go back to natural stuff. People don't want anybody with two brain cells rubbed together doesn't want lab meat. And as you can see there, one of California's companies preparing to offer lab-grown chicken nuggets. I wonder what they're serving over there at Mickey D's. Come on, folks. And these other restaurants. And what's in that frozen food? Nuggets. And even Tyson Foods, well, it wants in or is in, they're backing it up. They're backing these. It's unbelievable, folks. It's unbelievable. Is this something normal? Is this something you want? Do you think this is a good idea, lab meat? Is this a good idea? Lab-grown chicken nuggets from the California-based company Just could be on sale at the end of the year in, where? Australia? The lab-grown chicken industry is lurking in the weeds, folks. It's lurking in the weeds. Lab-grown meat. And did you know that they're going to actually change the market the GMO food as bioengineered to make it more alluring to the sheeple? It's time to wake up, folks. It's time to wake up. I'll leave the link below. But it's not looking too good out there. Another landmine to dodge, or not. It's up to you. Until next time, you've received the shock treatment.